And I was there just watching, observing. And I was praying, let this be true, let this not be a dream. And I looked around, and the whole scenario had changed, but I was in my faculties, I was not sleeping, I was fresh and alive. And then he came out of the waters, and he walked. And as soon as I was able to get up, I got up and I followed him. I do not remember the track, but anyhow, to make a long story short, he took me to a little shanty shack which had no doors and windows, just a covering as a roof. And sat down on some grass. I sat down, I didn't care less where I sat down. This was the most important. But he had quelled my excitement to, otherwise knowing things as they are, you get very excited. If you meet the being or the presence, it's a very powerful. And I knew, I sensed, I know that I'd met the Eternal One, that I'd met Babaji, Gurunath, the Eternal One, the head, the heart, the seed and the soul of undying knowledge. Just a shaft of him had come, spread from eternity to eternity beyond infinity, called the visible and invisible Savior of mankind, he about whom naught may be said. And yet, in all humility, we are still to spread his flavor and aura and love. We relate stories which are our own personal experience to share with you, to walk with us in that light, to walk with us in that love. And that night of the Himalayan ranges is vivid to me as it happened today. And then he took out a basket and he started taking an onion out of the basket. And he threw one to me and headed it, and he took one and he was peeling the onion. He peeled one layer and I peeled a layer and he peeled a layer and smiled, and he smiled, I almost went off, again lost self-sense. I didn't know, it brought me back to myself. He said, peel the onion. Finish the job first, then go into samadhi and trance and your true nature. Go into your inner nature. So I kept peeling the onion and it became smaller and smaller. It became yet smaller, and there was another layer and another layer and another layer, till ultimately there was a small onion and he peeled. And then when I peeled the rest, the last layer, there was a space. There was nothing in my hands, and there was nothing in his hands. And he looked at me, and I looked at him, and he laughed. And his laughter was laughing through my being. So I was shaking with laughter, and he was laughing. And he said, my son, did you find anything inside? So I said, nothing material, but I found the eternal divinity, eternal joy of your laughter. He says, that is the true nature of your being. That is the innermost essence of your core. And I had something to learn. I said, I still don't understand. I said, are you trying to tell me, Lord, that from the nothing, the everything that arise, that the whole universe came from the essential nature of non-being? So he smiled, and I understood. There was not much talk. Then he said, you see a large banyan tree, a large oak tree. Their seeds are very small. The mustard tree, the seed is very small. And I knew, I said, yes, these are the ancient masters of the ancient of days, the sages of the ancient of days, the one, the Christos, in flesh and blood. And the Upanishads and the Vedas rang out in my heart. And he said, this great mustard seed, if opened, it is so small. And from within that seed, arises the huge mustard tree, the huge banyan tree. And if you open the seed, in its ultimate essence is nothing. So from the nothing of the seed, like a huge banyan tree doth grow, and all the plants do grow, from the essential nature, the truth of your nothing, is the universe born. It was so beautiful to unravel the inner nature of my being, the true nature of my innermost self. And it was so beautiful. And then inside, he made happen within me the echo of the Ancient of Days. Om, which was sung along the banks of the Ganges 10,000 years ago, and which echoed in the caves of the Himalayas thousands of years ago. That if from the complete nothingness of all being everything is taken out, the nothing which is complete in itself still remains complete. This is now being proved by modern scientists and nuclear physicists and metaphysicians, quantum physicians like Stephen Hawking and all, John von Neumann. Einstein and Newton corroborated this. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnasa Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamavaya Purnameva Vashishyate Purnamida Purnamidam Purnasa Purnamudachyate Purnamavaya Purnamevaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om. So if everything is complete, from the complete, if the complete is taken away, the whole still remains the whole. So subtle is it in its essence that it is the complete being and non-being of all creation. Being nothing, yet from its nature everything is created. You see, it has to be a paradox, because the Divine One, the ultimate being, cannot be comprehended by the human brain and understanding, which is so limited. You cannot psych it into your brain box, because the brain box is so limited. Although it has 100 billion stars, 100 billion cells, like the 100 billion stars in our galaxies, each cell can correspond to a particular star in the world. This is the potential, and it expresses cosmic consciousness. But in its present stage, the ultimate mysteries of truth cannot be comprehended by logic or learning from books and theory. It has to be experienced when you lose all self-sense. Om Purnamida Purnamidam Purnasa Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamavaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 means don't think, because you will not get the ultimate truth by thinking. You have to go into no thought. And this is what all our satsang and all our party tonight is about. That what are we partying about tonight? Our party has got laughter for food and joy for drinks. It's a very subtle party. It's not like the teenage party. We're all elders here. We can party with soul food and drink the merry laughter of our souls. And then after that it finished. The whole scenario left me. It was definitely a different dimension, and certainly not a dream, because there was no change in my innermost state of realization, but there was a change in external surroundings, the external scenery. The scenario definitely changed, but the inner consciousness did not change. And then each time I lost self-sense in the expanded state of awareness. It was not that he could not suddenly become light in front of me, but he didn't choose to do so. And then without a few words, A few shafts of light were there within each of the centers, and it was done.